love. Holy shit.
What it do, what it do, what it do in the hood? What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 273 of the Legacy Maker Sports podcast here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. As your man, Terrell Owens, and alongside me, as always, the man, Mr. The absolute legend, Mr. Jeremiah Quimby. What's up, sir?
Not much. Ow, son of a.
You got to get used to the news. There you go. There you go.
No, I'm fucking. I want to go down.
Hey, the seat is treating them bad. The seat is treating them bad.
I want my squeaky one back.
I know. Don't worry. The baby done stole a squeaky one for the show, so it's all good on that. Anyway, once again, everybody, we're glad to have you all here with us for another edition of the show. We got a good one in store for you today. We're going to go over a lot of goodness and give you some NFL updates. We're going to talk goats. We're going to break down. What else we're going to do? Oh, top 10. We're doing a top 10 today in
Mock
the NFL draft. So we're going to knock that out today. But yeah, hope everybody's been doing good, man. We're starting to cruise through the first quarter of the new year and here in 2021. Jay, how you been doing lately, brother?
One foot in front of the other. You know, it's been a shitty year so far.
There you go. I knew that was coming out there somewhere. It's still having its moments. I don't want to jinx anything, so I'm just going to not say but so much. Because you already know how that can go.
I understand.
Yeah, so, but it's been a fun one in certain aspects, and in some other aspects it's been rough. Which it seems like we're starting to get better on the COVID front.
Shh. Shut your whore mouth.
What? I'm just saying. I'm not going to say we're completely better, but it seems like they're trying.
It's better there, but now we got the winter apocalypse coming on.
Yes, the winter apocalypse, the other part of the...
God be with everybody in Texas, because, some of the tragedies that have come out of there
right.
just are mind-boggling, but sad.
Yeah, and then we've actually, one of our own, on the network, Victor Herrera's down there doing his thing. So, much love to Victor, and you be safe while you're out there doing your thing, my man. And we're here to support you the best way we can. So take care of yourself down there in Texas. I will say, the last couple of weeks we've had some very interesting things going down in the NFL, especially on with the off season starting to kick in here. The last time we were on, obviously you guys had just won the Super Bowl. You're officially 2 weeks a Super Bowl champion. How's that feel?
Great.
Great. Now, with that being said, we're starting to hear a lot of rumors. Of course, everything's starting to rock and roll there. J.J. Watt has been released since then. Carson Wentz has been traded. Big Ben, we've heard all this stuff. Well, we'll start off with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz gets traded to the Colts, which, I'm not gonna lie to you. That was my prediction that's what I thought he was going to go to.
Well, it's a good spot for Wentz, but Howie Roseman's really got to start looking in the mirror and saying, "Are you retarded?"
Yeah, it's a bad deal.
Because he gave up so much to move up there and get Wentz. He had one good year. You give him the huge contract, and then he starts to sputter, and it's just not good.
Yeah,
it's not a good look for Howie Roseman.
It's crazy. He's done so many crazy trades, and this has been going on since Chip Kelly. He's been there for a minute, right?
Right. Yeah.
So this back and forth and this running and gunning and there's been so much change since the Chip Kelly years going on to now. Yes, they have won a Super Bowl in that process, but to go for where they were in the Chip Kelly years to where they are now, it's like it seems like they're in a worse spot than they were when the Chip Kelly years.
Absolutely.
It just seems like they don't know exactly, what's the next step for them, and I worry for the Philadelphia franchise.
A bit, but they moved on from Peterson because him and Wentz weren't talking, and then they trade Wentz. Keep why not keep Peterson?
Right,
Peterson's the one that brought your team to relativity, got you the championship. If him and Wentz aren't seeing, the whole thing about him, setting Jalen Hurts and then bringing in whoever, right, Suffield,
right.
and that was for draft positioning. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean they knew at that point. They was like, okay, what do we really want to do? Do we want to go win this game and then fall back
Right.
from what they were going to be 6 to they'll drop all the way to 10th or 9th, I believe. So do we drop to 9 or do we stay at 6 and start to look at our future? Now most people are like, oh, that's bad for the game. No, I mean if they had won more games leading up to that game, guess what? They would be in a position to win. But they lost the week before, which if they'd have won that game against Dallas, that game would have meant more.
Right.
So I mean, I look at it like, okay, I know Giants fans are not going to want to hear that, and we
I understand that, but I mean, it's pawns moving pawns.
right,
Makes sense.
right,
But at the same time, I just don't see why the release of Peterson and then the trade of Wentz. If you're going to do those two things, Roseman's got to go too. Let's just
exactly.
clean house and start over.
I think they're giving him one more shot, and I think we'll see from there what happens on that front.
That's too many. I mean,
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah. I mean, some people don't get that many chances, but
I hope he drafts the kicker with his 6th overall pick. That would just
that
make
would
my day.
it would definitely make your day, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
So I look at this. Wentz gets traded for a third round pick in this year's draft, and then a second in next year's draft, which could become
Conditional.
which can become a first if they get. Let's see.
He's got to play 70% of the snaps,
Right.
or he does 50% of the snaps and they make the playoffs.
Right. So all of those fancy things have to happen, and in order for them to get a first pick, which more likely will
But
happen.
I still feel they've shot themselves in the foot because the first offer from the Colts was 2 second-round picks, one this year, one next year.
And it would have been better.
And for, better, I mean, a conditional first-rounder, I mean, that's like them saying, the Eagles saying, well, we're sending you a quarterback that can't stay healthy.
Hmm.
But it's one of the best lines in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I think they may lose Anthony. God, don't give me to say his name, but Anthony Constello.
Constello, the left tackle.
Yeah, the left tackle. I think
But
he's a free agent, but other than that, you're still solid on that line.
I believe he's 33, 34 years old.
Right. So it
I
might
mean,
be time.
you can definitely find somebody to come in that wants to be part of a winner.
Exactly. Exactly. So I like this trade for both teams in a way. I mean, I like it. I want to say I like it more for Philadelphia because they're starting to, it looks like they're on the rebuilding front, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for the Colts and Carson Wentz, this is perfect. This is what they needed. He needed a quarterback that he can trust. Obviously, he had his best year when he was there. So when he was in Philadelphia, they were all together. So why not?
Frank Wright makes a good idea. And you and I talked. They got money to do things. Why not? Go get Hurt or Ertz. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Ertz is going to be a guy
You know.
that I would not be surprised if they go and make that because they need a tight end. I mean, they have
Mo
Mo
Alley
Alley Cox. They've got, well, I think
Boyle's a free agent.
yeah, Burden too. Yeah, so
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, Burton's free agent. So I mean, you look at that and say, well, all right, well, the Colts still have money, lots of money, I think,
Mhm.
so they still can make moves. It'll be interesting to see how Wentz works out in Indianapolis. But I mean, he's going to have a lot of expectations. Jay, he can't go in there and choke this one up because if he messes this time, that's it. I think his career could be over if he does not have if he doesn't show promise, or that next step, it's gonna be gone.
I agree 100%, and it's kind of reminiscent, if not tragic, like this other number 2 overall pick that I remember from, I believe, 2012? His name was RG3.
Mm. That's tough. That's a tough one. But I mean, but you're right though. I mean, it definitely starts to make you think, oh shoot, you got to watch out for that. Next, let's talk a little bit about our update on Deshaun Watson. We've been talking about Deshaun Watson for a month, but I feel like every week we hear something wild and crazy. Now, of course, leading into our last show, we were starting to hear it was not even the Panthers at the time. I
It
think
was the
it was the
Bears.
Bears,
Yep.
and we're still hearing the Bears. But the two teams I think I hear the most are the Panthers and the Bears. At least the last couple of weeks, the Panthers. Do you think the Panthers should go all in?
From the rumors I'm hearing, hell no. Yeah, Teddy B, CMC, and three first round picks. First of all, if you are in Texas or in Houston and you're hearing that they throw that offer at you and you say no,
Right.
you need bitch smacked.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, because what you're going to get in return is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
I know you ain't got a first round pick this year or next year, but I mean, you have Laramie Tunsil and you can build, off of that. CMC question there is how much tread is left?
Right.
They have just ran the hell out of
And
him.
you hate to say it because he's only been in the league, what, 3 years? He's not been in the league long.
No,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
mean,
just
for them to already, be willing to trade him. I mean, he's the franchise right now. Like, let's be honest. Even though he's hurt, he's the main guy on that franchise. Remember, Jay, when we were at the ACC championship game and we see CMC in the was it the Lamborghini or the Porsche?
he was in
Jay
the Lamborghini behind me when we couldn't find parking because they kept pointing us in different.
Go here, go there.
It was man.
It was definitely an experience.
It was a pain in the ass.
It was definitely an experience.
Becca, we can hear you, Quimby. Well, thank you. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I really am. But I smashed my pinky, and it's like stubbing your fucking toe.
I know it hurt. Then I do apologize.
Aunt Gail says you can barely hear it. That's because you're old.
Now,
turn it up for Brenda.
I turned it up already. That was.
Hello, Brenda.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Every now and then.
Now, I will say this: if Deshaun Watson ends up in Carolina, and they've given all this away, I don't. I mean, how much more money or what other moves they're going to make? I mean, yes, they got Robbie Anderson. He's a solid receiver.
Samuel's gone.
Samuel's is going to be gone unless you plan on, bringing him back.
But Watson's gonna. He's got the contract already.
Right.
And you gotta figure that in. But your defense sucks, big time. So I mean, you definitely gotta figure out prioritize.
I think the thing I worry about the most, though, with this situation, well, I wouldn't say worry about, but I think the one thing that a lot of people don't see that I think is a really smart move by the Panthers is they're trying to bring that Clemson connection there to because the Carolinas pretty much complete all of Carolina, so I think they're thinking that they can bring in some money on that end and bring in a high name like Watson.
Absolutely, I mean that if COVID calms down and we can have full fandom again, that puts butts in the seat,
right?
Big time.
And I mean it's gonna be nice for them. But how nice would it be if you can have Watson and CMC? I don't know.
I just don't. I mean, CMC having Watson would take a lot off CMC and allow him to be what we all think he's capable of and know he's capable of. But it just wonders if the damage has already been done on him.
Right, and I'm a little bit worried. Now, I also think last year they didn't play him towards the end because they wanted to make sure he was completely healthy. I think he could have played. I think they held off on him towards the end, though.
I agree with you on that. But, one thing not say anything about the Bucks, but the one thing that Jason Light does do is when he does contracts, we hardly have any dead cap space, dead money.
Right.
Because of the fact of there's a lot in the signing bonuses and guaranteed money that gets out of the way in the first couple of years of the contract, and if it ain't working out, we can cut ties and not have that dead money.
Right.
And that's where some people need to look at the way they do their contracts. Jason Light has done a great job of doing that.
That's the problem that places like Green Bay would have.
Martinez Rodriguez says your broadcast volumes are extremely low. That's the second complaint, so fix it. You mean start hitting shit again?
No,
it's not going.
Yeah, I mean, I can. Let me see. See if you can hear.
Okay, okay. How about now? Anybody?
Yeah, if you can't hear us, definitely let us know.
Jesus, I'm blocked. Oh, it's too loud.
Yeah, I don't know what that could be. We definitely have it.
Hello.
We definitely
How
have
about
it.
now?
We definitely have it loud on our end. So we do apologize on that, and that'll be something that we'll have to fix on. Now, I guess we got to keep rolling because let's see. All right, next. Let's look at J.J. Watt. Now, J.J. Watt, obviously, I think yesterday on Twitter they asked him, "Hey, where are you?" Somebody asked him, "Where are you going to go?" And he was like, "This is a process, man. This is going to take some time." You know.
But the comment is there, no comment. That dad, that's because you gotta tap it and swipe it because it moves it over. I'm trying to. I love you, Dad, but his technology not there. Volume on our side is super low. BB, we just tried to turn it up and deafened myself.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. 'Cause we can hear it.
ha
We definitely can hear it.
ah.
But I look at it and say, uh, if I'm J.J. Watt, there's a couple places that he can go.
Right.
You can look at.
You've heard Cleveland, and I hate that idea. Not because of it's Cleveland, but you've played in Texas for so long in a dome. What's it gonna be like playing outside? But then you get the same thing. See, I was thinking about doing that.
Are you not? That's low to you?
I can hear it with headphones on. You don't. I'm not gonna eat your damn phone.
I mean, I'm just checking. I mean, look, we're live, so I mean, whatever happens is happening. I mean, I'm sorry that y'all can't hear. We do apologize, and we'll work on that. Um, in
Okay, turn it off because I don't want to hear my voice.
but with J.J. Watt, so you got a couple of teams that could be looking in his direction. Uh, the Browns, we're starting to hear the Browns a lot. I heard the Bears early. I don't know. The Bears name is in everything. I don't even trust Green Bay at this
But
point, so I'm not even gonna toss that in
at
there.
this point, J.J. Watt's career, he's done so much. For him, at this, and I'm not trying to say anything against him, he's a
Hmm.
hell of a human being. But now it becomes ring chasing for him,
Right.
is what I would do because everybody wants that ring. He's already got the Hall of Fame career.
Right.
So go a place where you have a possibility of getting a ring.
Yeah. I mean,
Green Bay is home.
but I mean, let's be honest. Will he get an opportunity at the ring? Like, will it happen? I don't know if I can truly say that because, the last couple of years Green Bay have had opportunities and their opportunities did not go into
The
fruition.
last good free agent that they brought in, and I hate to say this, was
Right.
Charles Woodson.
Yeah. Yeah. And I keep hearing Richard Sherman, but this is that time of year you start to hear everything, and everybody and their mama says, "Oh, it's this one. Oh, it's that one," and I'm like, "No." So as a Green Bay fan, until I start seeing stuff happen, I'm just gonna let that fly. I don't know if I trust it, Jay. I just don't know if I trust it.
I agree. Um, just a lot of dominoes are going to start falling because, first of all, there's a lot of teams that the cap set it from what we've heard about 180. There's a lot of teams that are over that or
Right.
very close to it, and let's be honest, the numbers are getting so inflated of what not even a great wide receiver is, but an average wide receiver is getting on these markets. So you basically got to sell your soul to bring in good players.
Right.
And
Right.
this is where it becomes key drafting, making people work on their rookie contracts. I looked at Tampa's and we have our top 4 highest players are, of course, Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Ali Marpet. And Evans and Marpet both are going to restructure their contracts so we
Right.
can keep some key players. But the next 5 below that, there's 4 of the first round picks on their rookie contracts.
Oh man. Let's see.
But see that is good. That's what I'm talking about with light. And you run into certain teams. I think one of them might be like the 49ers are like $30 million over the cap.
That's crazy.
And the Saints. The Saints are screwed.
I think I did. The Saints are like almost 50 million. I saw the number. I didn't think it was a real thing. I didn't think
Sandra says I can hear you all fine. Becca said it's a
a
little
little
bit
bit
better.
better. Okay, all right. Well, that's cool. As long as y'all can hear us now.
Sweet.
So, but yeah, I look at it, and we do apologize about that. I'll take the hit on
It's
that.
his fault.
Yeah, because I don't know what was going on. I mean, because it's loud on our end. We can hear everything. I mean, I can hear
About
a
blew my
dime.
damn head off.
I can hear a dime drop across the street. That's how loud this thing is inside of our ears.
Bullshit. But
Well, you
anyways.
know you hear it. Come on. I will say, I I want to see, um, I want to see J.J. Watt go somewhere where he will be really beneficial, um, and and really help that team take it to the level. But he's one of those guys you want to see win a ring, man. I mean,
He's Larry Fitzgerald,
right.
but on a defensive side.
Exactly.
I mean, great person, a great person in the community, a leader on the team, and it's sad that the Texans went from, you know, I picked them. I don't know. I think you picked the Titans.
This year, yeah.
I picked them to win the division, and they sucked.
Yeah, I picked the Titans this year, and they barely won the division.
Well,
they won it, but they barely won it.
You have, Deshaun Watson is an elite quarterback.
Right.
Honestly. And you're giving him possibly, at best, third wide receivers to be his number ones and twos. I mean, let's get it together.
How's that really going to be beneficial for him? I don't see it.
Well, we're protecting his blind side, so he should be able to hit him. Well, okay. I've seen some of the best wide receivers drop wide open passes. It's just one of those things where you got to build around them.
Well, I think the franchise tag starts tomorrow when they can start franchise tagging through the knife. If you see the Bears franchise tag Allen Robinson, I got a feeling they're going to make a strong push for Desean because they got to give him a number one receiver. They got to. I mean, he can't go there and be.
Now, Allen Robinson for me is kind of a mystery. He has one dropped pass in his entire NFL career.
That's crazy. It's a good thing, though.
It's a great thing, but when you think about the people that have been throwing the ball to him, and you're like, that's it? And so, I agree, but they also have this cap thing because you look at that defense is supposed to be scary.
It's supposed to be. But that defense has been very mediocre the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Especially with a guy like Khalil Mack on the team.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, even Eddie Jackson come out of nowhere to be a ball hawk.
And you know what? I think, and I feel bad for Khalil. I know we're going a little bit, but with Khalil Mack, I look at it and say, wow, Khalil Mack is a stud. But you don't hear anything about him because that's how bad the defense has gotten.
Is it 2014 draft he was in?
Yeah.
You redraft that, he's going first, Clowney.
Yeah. He's going way before. He's going to go before Klein because I think he went fifth in that draft.
Dad said ice in the cable. Yeah. He went fifth, but then even number 2 you'd put Aaron Darnold, and he went 12th.
Right.
So,
right. So I mean that draft was actually a pretty solid draft too.
Oh yeah.
Especially defensively.
Even offensively, Odell, Mike Evans, Landry.
It's crazy draft.
So, all right.
Crazy draft.
On to the next topic.
All right. So next one is Big Ben. Big Ben is I don't know if he's going to be in Pittsburgh, Jay. His GM came out and said some stuff the other day about, not really securing his spot as a starter next year. It sounded very vague. The whole press conference sounded kind of weird. I don't know if he's going to be in Pittsburgh next year, Jay. It's really weird how it kind of came across.
I really think they were hoping he would retire. And he's going to come back. He wants to try to win one more. And Ben is, let's honestly, he is a shell of the player he was even 4 years ago.
I think that I think the other part of that is money. They don't want Big Ben to be their starter. They don't want him to be the starter under the money he has right now. So unless Big Ben takes a massive pay cut just to come back and play,
right?
I don't know if he's going to be there.
Well, and Juju is free agent also.
Right.
I think they need to let him go because Claypool stepped up.
Yeah, I mean, but see, that's the thing. They've in Pittsburgh, it's usually been a place where they can find receivers. They've done a really good job over the last 10 years. That every time you think that they're going to struggle in the receiver, they find somebody. You find
Right.
like an Antonio Brown. You had Martavis Bryant before he went kookanutty. They always find they're always good at drafting receivers.
Mike Wallace.
Yeah, Mike Wallace. So
I mean,
if they let him go, which I've been hearing a lot of Raider talk, with Juju.
The Raiders are always scraping the shit off the bottom of everybody's shoes and turning it into something.
Right.
I mean, honestly, but the thing that Ben is really kind of his arm strength isn't what it used to be, but that happens with older. But his play action used to be great,
Right.
and it no longer is, and that is one of the mainstays of that offense that they run up there. And bringing in Haskins, I think, is key. You and I talked about it, and I said Pittsburgh would be a great fit. They must have been listening because they got him. Let him learn some stuff, become the leader, and then give him weapons. McLaren is a great weapon, but that's one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that'll make Washington's situation very interesting this offseason because now I've heard like 5 quarterback different names. I heard Fitzpatrick. I've heard Mariota. I've heard what's the guy's name?
Foles.
at this point, why not, right? So and they don't. It doesn't sound like Alex Smith is going to be back there.
And which is dumb because the last 4 games that he played, 300 plus yards.
Right.
It was the best average he had over a 4-game span his entire career. And he came back from that injury. He's inspiration. He is a leader. They're more focused, like they want to bring back Brandon Sheriff, and I believe Kerrigan will be cut.
I think Kerrigan.
Is he a free agent?
I think he's a free agent. So like the market, everybody was talking about how like J.J. Watt being on the market has kind of pushed Kerrigan back because I think Kerrigan was probably one of the top, if not the top in some people's eyes, pass rushers out there. And now J.J. Watt is out there. It's kind of, he's going to have to wait for J.J. Watt to sign before he can do anything now.
I disagree because you know what? Shaq Barrett's out there too, unless we tag him.
That's true.
Again.
That's true. Unless you tag him. But I'm pretty sure he wants to come back. But
no, Shaq Barrett says he wants to cash in and make bank.
He does. He does. But I mean, if he probably wants to come back. But I mean, y'all really gonna pay him that much money?
No.
Yeah.
8.5 sacks. I mean, his pressures were off the scale. But I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Three-finger Paul was better.
Yeah. If he'd have had double-digit sacks again this year, besides the postseason that you add on to it, I think they would have paid him. I think they would. I think it wouldn't even be a question. But you got to look at it, and teams that I think that'll be looking at him, that got tons of money. The Jets have a ton of money. The Jacksonville Jaguars have the most money. They got like $79 million under the cap.
But but you take those two. The more desirable place to go play is going to be Jacksonville because Florida, tax-exempt state.
That's true, and he's already there.
And they're building something. The Jets is, I mean, I hate to say it, it used to be a prime market, but it is a shithole to go and just die in despair.
Yeah. It's been rough the last couple of years, and like they have young receivers and there's young everything. To be honest with you, I mean that a couple of years ago their defense was actually pretty solid, and now that defense has been slowly but taken apart.
They really have nobody good on defense anymore. And Sam Darnold is throwing to wide receivers named Jay Quimby. I mean, it's that bad.
Sam Darnold's throwing the football to you. I mean, you're out there catching it, Wayne Corbett.
No, because I get hit. There'll be a piece of me over here and here. It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be a bad deal. All right, so that's some of our things going on in the NFL right now. Of course, when we have our next show, we'll be updating you more. About time we have our next show, it should be right before free agency is about to open up completely. So I think the free agency opens up March 17th.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So we should be ready to rock and roll for free agency. We'll probably have a whole free agency thing going on there. I'm excited. I'm ready to see how this all kind of.
You're ready to see what your team doesn't do to make it better.
Right. I am ready to see the Packers disappoint me again. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers is restructuring his contract like they say he is, we'll see. I don't know how much of a difference that's really going to make. But my main concern right now in the offseason of people we need to get back is Aaron Jones. Sign Aaron Jones, and we'll figure everything else out from there. But
Best
we'll
running
see.
back in the league.
He's been phenomenal.
In my mind.
He's been phenomenal. Now, you can't look at the 2 fumbles in that game. He rarely fumbles. Rarely fumbles. It hurt my heart. I was like, God, this guy doesn't fumble the football.
What game was that?
Let's not talk about that too much. Let's not talk about that too much. But we'll be in the next couple of weeks bringing you more up on that. Now, real quick, let's swing to the NBA All-Star Game. The NBA All-Star Game is coming up in a couple of weeks. We did talk about it last week on our on the last episode that we had. Is it that bad? It's not that boring, is it? Come on.
I mean, they got to do something different with it. The only thing I'm looking forward to is possibly of ball being in the skills challenge. That's the only thing I would watch, because even the dunk contest has become mundane and boring.
Well, the one thing that makes it real interesting to me, they're not having a 2-day event. It is a 1-day event. They're going to have everything on Sunday, March the 7th. That's it. Everything March the 7th on that Sunday. That's what's happening.
And it's done and it's going to be in a bubble. But still, for me, I don't. There's no interest. It was fun when, watching Shaq shoot threes, of course, because he can't make a free throw, let alone a three.
Well, the regular season games with no fans, I can almost deal with. The All-Star game is for the fans. Like, for them not being there, it's going to be different.
I just think one of my problems is that guy from Portland, is he playing? Oh, no, he's not. And he's one of the best, I would say, top 5 players in the NBA.
Well, and I look at this and this. All right, so let's look at the starting lineup here. So the big controversy in the starting lineup.
Sandra Isles, anything on the Vikings. The only thing we got on the Vikings is they paid
horrible.
Way too much for Kirk Cousins to do nothing.
Exactly. This Vikings team has a lot. If you look at their team, their defense has a lot of talent on there. The problem is that defense fell off last year.
They're not going to re-sign Anthony Harris. Watch. They won't tag him or anything. They won't even make an offer.
He's going to be out there.
And he's one of the top 3 safeties in the league.
Yeah, so he, former UVA product, Wahoo, he's going to be out there. Somebody's going to get a quality safety in Anthony Harris. They still got the 2 linebackers in Kendricks and Barr.
But they're getting older.
They're getting older.
They're not, and who's playing corner for them? Mike Zimmer came in and he drafted 5 cornerbacks. There's one that's there.
That's still there, yeah. So
Trey Waynes?
Yeah, and they're starting, I hate to say this, but they're starting to look really rough. And the Kirk Cousins move just doesn't look like it's. I mean, yes, they got a playoff victory out of it, but that's it.
I bet you they brought in Jefferson. He looked great.
Phenomenal.
But I bet you Adam Thielen gets traded.
They
would be retarded to do it, but they're going to do it.
I think Kirk Cousins might get traded. I mean, it's one of those.
I would trade Kirk Cousins for a pack of chewed bubble gum.
He might get traded. He
went from being here to I got paid to
Well, I look at it and I say, well, if they end up whatever the Vikings end up doing, I had the Vikings finishing second in the division this year, and obviously they finished third. I don't know what they'll look like next year. It's gonna be really interesting. And Kyle Rudolph is not coming back on a cheap contract, so they're gonna
exactly. I really think that the Lions will have a better offseason this year than the Vikings will.
I know
that's saying a lot.
A lot of people made fun of Dan Campbell's press conference because it was hilarious. Let's just be honest. But
look at the staff he brought in.
He's brought in some really it's a really really nice staff.
Yes.
I mean, it's a really nice staff. So we'll see what it all with Jared Goff. It's just it's a different time for Detroit. Jared Goff is going to be the quarterback. It's the first time that Stafford hasn't been the starting quarterback since '09.
Yep.
That's a decade. He was the quarterback for a whole decade. So it's just going to be different for him. It's going to be different for him. But back to the NBA real quick. The biggest controversy in this All-Star starters for the East, you got Kyrie Irving, which I think in some people's eyes can be debatable because he missed a whole week. But I mean, if you look the way he's played since he got back, he's been great.
Mom, I got a hangnail. I can't play this year.
Bradley Beal has been phenomenal. Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Joel Embiid, who's in a lot of people's eyes is the MVP.
Yep.
So the East squad I can deal with. All right. The West is where the controversy kicks in. Steph Curry having another great year. They laughed at him at the beginning of the season, then he started balling out. LeBron James is LeBron James. LeBron James having a great year. The Joker, who is another MVP candidate out there in Denver, playing phenomenal. Kawhi Leonard's Kawhi Leonard. I mean, he's been playing good. But the controversy is coming from Luka and Damian Lillard, where people are saying, well, Dame should be starting. Dame's got the better numbers. Dame got voted by the players and the coaches to be the starter over Luka, but the fan vote gave it to Luka.
And we talked on a earlier episode, or I did. Luka's having a down year.
He is.
Very much so. And Dame is putting up numbers like Dame does. He takes over games. He is definitely he should be there. I mean, the fans are special at it. It's like that year that they voted in the center for the Golden State Warriors to be a starter.
I remember that. My man did not deserve to be there.
See, Joe Isles said that they would like to have Cousins back in Washington. Cousins don't want to be in Washington. They only want him back because he's white.
And I don't think he can look at like. Hey, let's just be honest, man. Look, black quarterbacks. We talked about it before. Black quarterbacks don't do well in Washington, man. It's just been that way. Unfortunately, they may do well initially, and then something goes wrong, and it just doesn't happen.
It falls apart.
It just falls apart.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man. Like, just if you're a black quarterback, stay away from Washington. Go elsewhere. You'll do fine in other places. Washington's not
if
the
you
spot.
get drafted, pull an Eli Manning.
Next topic here we're going to swing to is the top 5 GOATs of all time. So
top 5 GOATs.
Yeah, I saw this somewhere on the internet, and I said, "Wow, man, top 5 GOATs." The interweb. Yeah, I saw this somewhere, and I said, "This is intriguing to me." So we're going to sit back here and give you our top 5 GOATs of all time. Now, this is what we mean by that is the GOATs of their sports,
their perspective sport, not
right.
Just this is our top 5 list of the greatest athletes ever.
Exactly. So, I guess number 5 for me, and I guess I have a little bit of a tie here. No, number 5 for me is Muhammad Ali.
Now, see, we talked earlier, and so you finally did.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep him in. I mean, Muhammad meant so much to the sport in so many different ways. It's kind of like the Jordan factor. Jordan may not have all of the greatest numbers, but what Jordan did as a whole for the sport, to me, makes him a GOAT. So I'm gonna put Muhammad at number 5.
Well, see, I know the name. Everybody knows the name, but what happened later in his career? I mean, we could go. Mike Tyson has the best knockout.
Right.
Floyd Mayweather is the best defensive fighter, but I mean, I don't hate it.
All right, cool. I'm down with that. Who you got at
number 5? I have Kelly Slater.
Ooh, I like that.
The surfboard champion for like almost a decade and a half before it really picked up in the 90s, and now it's just back to being nothing.
That's crazy. Number 4 for me, and I have a tie here. I know, Ty, you like, Darrell, you cheated, but I'm gonna cheat a little bit. This one was tough for me because it was hard for me to debate it. I got Wayne Gretzky / and Becca's gonna like this one, Richard Petty. I mean, Richard Petty, 200 wins, 555 top 5s, 712 top 10s. I looked at the number and I was like, man, that ain't real,
now,
man.
see, I wanted to put him in mine, and after we talked, I know you had him, so I was like, all right,
no, man, you could have put him in,
no,
man.
I didn't want, because after we were talking, a lot of ours were the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me take a
separate it a little bit.
different approach. Because, my dad raised me. Richard Petty is the man. That's who you love. Bubba Wallace come back in the 43, and that's where, I still love Bubba Wallace. My favorite driver, hands down. Don't care. I have so much respect for him. But, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I got Petty and I got Gretzky, and Gretzky's phenomenal.
Gordie Howe, though.
Gordy's good, man.
And he retired and then turned 50 and come back.
Came back and played.
Yeah.
I mean, Gretzky he has all the numbers. I mean, I know when people think hockey, I think people, even in this generation, they think Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
And you look at, I mean, it was number one in goals, number one in minutes played. I mean, he's got it all. I'm like, Gretzky is.
He's the man.
He's the man. So I got Gretzky / Petty at 4, and that's me cheating, but that's all right.
For me, and I remember being 17, 16, 17, and it's Mia Hamm. She really brought women's soccer.
No ma.
Yeah, to the forefront, and I remember watching that shootout. I believe it was with China.
Yeah, in that World Cup.
Chastain made it, and it's like, wow. And I mean,
Iconic.
it really brought women's sports to the forefront of where it needed to be the entire time.
Right. And she was amazing.
And I can't think of the new girl. I think she just retired last year too. She broke Mia Hamm's record for goals international play. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the one with the great hair.
Yep.
Megan.
Megan.
Raponkno. I'm destroying
Okay,
it.
yeah, you're fucking shit.
It's
up.
Megan though. It's definitely Megan, but I can't remember her last name.
Because Alex Morgan's another great goalie
Alex Morgan.
or another player, but Mia Hamm's what made women's soccer. Because, you had Landon Donovan and Lexi Lamas.
And all, yeah. I remember Lexi Lawless, man, and Kobe Jones.
Yep.
Oh, Kobe.
So,
but my guy, Eric Wijnaldum. I used to have World Cup '98, baby, and every time I get on the fast break, Wijnaldum, the guy that was commentating was amazing.
But Mia Hamm is what made women's soccer well, I don't want to say watchable because soccer's boring as hell, but you definitely rooted for those teams.
I will say, soccer on TV, no go. Soccer live, amazing.
I wasn't invited to that, so.
That was good. No, wait a minute. Yeah. That was you weren't in town then. So.
Yeah.
That was back in 2018.
I love it. You had to do the math.
I had to make sure. Yeah, you weren't in town then. But that was we went up to FedEx and they were playing. It was Juventus versus Real Madrid, and man, the energy level at that game was crazy. I'll never forget it. Never forget it.
It's definitely something, but
it was awesome.
All right,
awesome.
Who you got at number 3?
Number 3, I've got your quarterback, Tom Brady.
Oh, fuck him.
The guy's got 7 rings, 10 Super Bowls. There's nobody close to him right now.
I know.
There's nobody close to him right now.
Tom Brady. I hate Michigan and whatever. For me, number 3 is Michael Phelps, the Dolphin.
22 gold medals, 23 gold medals.
I mean, just what he's been able to do is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Phelps, gave, you knew that he was going to bring in 4 or 5 gold medals, and he went to 3 or 4 Olympics.
Yep.
I mean, the guy was amazing. He made Maryland proud. Number 2 for me, and this might be your number 2 as well, I think. I'm not sure. Serena Williams.
Yep. Absolutely.
Serena Williams is a stud. I mean, think about it. She's been.
I remember in high school, Venus. Everybody was talking about. She's gonna transcend the sport.
Right.
And her little sister comes along and says, "Here, hold my bracket."
Right. It took Serena a little bit because Venus was the main one at first. Like Venus was the one everybody's like, oh man, and her little sister's doing all right, and then all of a sudden, Serena just surpassed Venus, and then Venus couldn't beat Serena if she, there was so many times that they played each other. Now they always did get a knock when they played each other because they felt like they didn't play their hardest.
Didn't she win one of her titles, like almost dying doing it?
Yeah.
I mean,
she was pregnant when she won the Australian. I think when she won the French Open, she was pregnant when she won the French Open a couple years ago.
It's crazy. I mean, women, facilitate, they carry a baby.
Right.
Something neither one of us can fathom in our head.
Real facts.
And and then
Unless
playing a sport doing it.
Right.
I have nothing but respect for
Yeah,
the
and
woman.
then we didn't find out till afterwards she was pregnant. I said, that's crazy. She won an event pregnant. It's crazy. It's crazy. Number 1, Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Oh, yes.
I mean,
inspired so many kids through the, we'll say late 80s, 90s. I mean, he was the poster child of a decade.
Yeah, and Michael Jordan, yes, Michael Jordan is a jerk in a lot of people's eyes. But hey, when it comes down to it, think about what Michael Jordan has done as a brand. The man is worth $2 billion. He's worth $2 billion. His shoes are like, if not when people think shoes, they think Michael Jordan. How many people would say that? But you think shoes, you think Michael Jordan. You think basketball, majority of the time, 95% of the time, you think Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan has done so much for the sport of basketball.
And we're going to get so many people say he's not the best basketball player ever and stuff. Okay, first of all, he's the best basketball player, but he is the best entrepreneur
Yes.
ever.
Sometimes, I think an unmatched thing, and when people think of GOATs, they don't think about sometimes the overall thing they do for the sport.
Absolutely.
I think, yes, numbers-wise, greatest scorer of all time is Kareem. Kareem's got about another 3,000. LeBron's catching up with him, but he's got about like another 3,000.
What if he didn't take those 3 years off?
Right. I mean, we're talking about Jordan probably would be.
He could have 8 or 9 championships, and Tom Brady was going to be like, I got to catch Jordan.
I got to catch Jordan. That's where I'm at right now. So I look at that and say, well, I think what he did overall for a culture, that was in the 90s and the 80s. It is the 20s, the 2020s, where it's almost been 40 years. And this man, for almost a 35 to 40-year span, has been super important in the sports world. His brand is on all sports.
You don't see anybody else like that. You will get Kevin Durant will hit a shot, or even LeBron will, make 2 shots. When it was crunch time, Jordan took that entire game over.
He did.
Everything facilitated through him. It was role players, people, they focused on him, gave the ability for Scotty to play, and Steve Kerr or Horace Grant.
Yeah, I mean, because those teams, yes, they were good teams. But, I mean, if you look at the names on those teams, sometimes you'll be like, I mean, Rodman obviously is a Hall of Famer. Pippen's a Hall of Famer. But in some of those other teams, like, you look at some of the names, you're like, Jed Buchler.
Buchler was
Bill Winnington.
He was the most highest paid water boy ever.
All right, so before we move on, I got to ask you this one. My brother brought this up last night. Who would win in the matchup? I guess the 96 Bulls against those Rockets teams. The two Rocket teams that won the Super Bowl. That won the championship when Jordan wasn't around.
Okay, so the one that had Barkley, Clyde, and
no, it was just the Dream and Clyde, because Barkley came in afterwards.
Okay.
So it would have been like Mario, Ellie, and all them. And I said, man, it really threw me in Kenny Smith, and I was like, I felt like the Rockets.
That's something you would want to see.
Right.
It's like watching Jordan play the Jazz.
Right.
And Karl Malone, you're a terrible human being. Fuck you.
I'm not a Karl Malone fan. I'm sorry. That's just not where it goes.
You got kids and responsibilities. Own it up, you pile of.
Oh my God. And there's some people. I'm gonna let that one go. All right. So now we're gonna swing to our first mock draft. Me and Jay having, we usually do top 10 mock drafts as we head. We get a little bit closer to the draft. We're about a month and a half away, about 2 months, about a month and a week away from the draft. We're currently working on our draft show. Cannot wait to bring that to y'all. So
I must have said something. Our numbers dropped.
So I'm very excited about that coming up. So here we go. First mock draft of the year. The Jacksonville Jaguars do have the first pick. We're only going to do the top 10. That's what we normally do. Jacksonville Jaguars have the first pick of the draft. Urban Meyer's there now. Where are the Jacksonville Jaguars going, sir?
Oh, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, it'd be done.
I've heard a lot of people say, oh, he's going to take Justin Fields. Justin Fields only came to Ohio State because he wanted to be a starter. They needed a quarterback.
Right.
And played for Ryan Day.
Yeah, he was not there. I mean, yes, there's a Ohio State connection, but he wasn't there. It will be dumb if Jacksonville doesn't take Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, I watched a thing on Trevor this morning that he has been the highest recruited and player besides the Archie Manning that is getting ready, because he was a freshman in high school and took over the starting job.
That's crazy.
And he's only lost 4 games
in his career. I think one is a national championship. So,
yeah.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence has got to be the guy here. And I think there's a couple of reasons. One, because he's, in most people's eyes, he's the best quarterback in this draft. Two, it's Jacksonville fans have been drooling over him for months. If they pick anybody else, this will remind me of the time that everybody just knew Reggie Bush was going to go to the Texans.
And it didn't
And they drafted Mario Williams. Now, don't get me wrong, Mario Williams had a phenomenal career. A couple of Pro Bowls, and he was a good player.
Reggie Bush never really amounted to anything except an all-purpose back. That's it.
Yep, and he did get a Super Bowl in there, but he was never what we thought Reggie Bush was going to be. So that's why I said, like, I look at that and I say, if you go anywhere other than that, that's what I would see.
Reggie Bush reminds you of like Kenyon Barner or a couple more of those Oregon.
It was like,
great in college, but then when he plays against professionals all the way across, you ain't got none.
Yeah, so I mean, Reggie Bush, great talent, but yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Now this is where it gets fun. Number 2 pick. The Jets have a quarterback right now, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold will be going into his 4th year, I believe, coming up. A lot of talk is, will they trade him? Will they trade Sam Darnold?
And they're only asking a mid-round pick for him too right now.
Yeah.
So the kid hasn't gotten a chance. Once again, I'm going back to the same thing I said with Haskins. They didn't give him a team, and Adam Gase was doing crack between every play call. He had a terrible situation. They got to give the man a chance.
They do.
For me, I'm going with the best wide receiver in this class, in my mind, Jamar Chase.
I thought about this, and I promise you, Jay, I wanted to go receiver here because I said, you know what? They need to keep Sam Darnold. They need to give him one last shot.
They went tackle last year,
right.
So that's why.
So either they go and get more offensive line help, which I can see that happening here, but I got a bad feeling because the Jets are the Jets. They're going to trade. They're going to trade Darnold somehow, somewhere to some team. The Washington football team is what I've been hearing, and I think they go quarterback here. It's going to be Zach Wilson. Now it could be Justin Fields. But I got a feeling it'll be Zach Wilson.
I just think it's dumb starting over.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. But we are talking about
the Jets.
Jets. Jets.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, Next one, the Miami Dolphins. This is beautiful for Miami. Miami just stole the Texans' life.
Everybody has got them. I am not sold on Devonta Smith. Because of we'll call it the Reggie Bush effect.
I like that. Heisman winner. Okay.
Okay, that's Jalen Waddle, in my opinion, has the better hands and the better route running. I'm going Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
They're going to bring a matchup with Tua, an old teammate that
Smart
played,
move.
and another weapon because besides Parker and the tight end Galinsky. What do they have?
I also would agree with Waddle if Chase is not there, and I'm going to pick Chase here only because he's there. But if things go the way they probably should go, if they keep in Darnold, then we would be on the same track here. But I'm going to go Chase here because they need weapons in Miami. The crazy thing about it, they went 10-6, and if you name the weapons on the Miami Dolphins team. Devontae Parker hurt half of the year. Galinsky, good guy, but he didn't really come on until late in the season. Running backs, they were hurt all year. the running backs were hurt all year. Yeah. They were just picking people up off the street.
You know what hurts my heart for Chase? The only picture they have of him is that one. You know that picture? It's the only one you see of the man. And we talked to our friend down there in Florida State.
Yeah.
And he loves Chase.
Yeah.
He says he's a great kid, good head on his shoulders. I'm excited to see what he does.
So Chase is going to be a stud. Now, here's another interesting pick, the Atlanta Falcons. You got Matt Ryan. You got Julio Jones. You got a brand new head coach. But people are saying, you know what, it's time for a change. People are starting to hear. I've heard all. I mean, that's the thing now. You hear all types of crazy. I heard a trade rumor where I saw a friend of mine's posted on their little page on their page that that they should send the Texans. No, the Texans should send Then
Your
Watson.
nose is running like a bitch.
I know, man. Allergies, bro. So they say would send the Texans to. No, I'm saying it wrong. They would send Deshaun Watson to the Falcons and then send Julio and Matt Ryan to the Texans. And I was like, that sounds like a lot. Will they be able to pull that off?
But see, that would, for as far as that trade,
Mm-hmm.
the Falcons are making out. Because, let's be honest, Matt Ryan is nowhere near what he was.
Right.
Julio's getting up in age. Ridley has come on. You can get a wide receiver in this class. So for me, I went Zach Wilson. They're going quarterback.
Yeah. I went quarterback too, but obviously I've already taken 2 off the board, so I'm going Justin Fields here. He comes back to Georgia. I mean, another situation where it could help out the locals because guess what? Yeah, he's from Georgia.
Help the locals.
He's from Georgia. You know,
right.
Georgia boy.
It's fit.
It's a fit. It's a fit. Is that what they want to go? Next, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Of course, I feel bad for what happened to Burrow. He was having a great year, looking phenomenal.
Right.
So of course I'm going. They've picked a lot of linemen that have done shit. So I am actually gonna go with I'm gonna fuck up his first name, but Sewell.
Sewell, yeah, I went with Sewell too. I mean, they got to get help on the offensive line.
And he's the best offensive lineman besides Wyatt Davis, the guard from Ohio State.
Yeah, they've got to get more help out there.
Yes.
And I mean that's just something that has to happen. And I went the same way. Sewell is the best, lineman in this draft. It doesn't matter where he plays on the line; they need line help.
Yep,
I mean,
exactly.
Billy Price is trying to get better. He's still not there yet. They just don't have anybody. They drafted a lineman a couple years ago. Who was the lineman they drafted a couple years? Connor Williams.
Yeah, from
Alabama. Jonah Williams. So they drafted him.
Done nothing.
Yeah, he got hurt the first year, so he didn't play. He played. This was, I believe, was his first year playing. So the struggles have been there. But yeah, I got him going there. Number 6, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles.
I got them, and Justin Fields is still on the board for me, so that they're going quarterback.
I've heard a lot of people say, well, they're a quarterback team. They like to have a lot of quarterbacks.
I know Jalen Hurts is there, but
I mean, yeah, and you've seen a small sample of what Jalen Hurts can do. I feel like if you're Philadelphia here, drafting a quarterback, in my opinion, is a mistake. I mean,
it's the Eagles and Howie Roseman.
This is also true, but they need to build pieces up. I mean, Carson, what did we say at the beginning of the season last year? We were both worried of the Eagles. Why? Because they didn't have any receivers.
And think if they picked I can't even say Okoye or Ayukui or whatever the hell his name is. The next wide receiver off the board was Jefferson.
Yeah, that's right. And then, man, Jefferson would have been a stud there.
Yep.
And then they drafted when the Ragar was hurt.
Who was the guy that they drafted in the first round and sucked and couldn't catch anything, and then went out and was the leading wide receiver for the Raiders? Wasn't his name Aguilar?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, terrible year. He goes out there and he was balling, man. Yep. Aguilar was having games. I was like, look at Aguilar all of a sudden playing like he cares about life. Man, get out of here, buddy. I went with Jalen Waddell. Waddle. I went with Waddle here because they need receiver help. I mean, to be honest with you, I almost went quarterback here, but they need pieces.
The one guy I almost took instead of Fields is Cosme, the offensive tackle,
right,
because Jason Peters is my age.
Right, and then their Dillard got hurt last year at the beginning,
and Lane Johnson's
getting up there.
Yep.
So I if they went offensive line here, Philadelphia fans will probably hate it. Because it's not the sexy pick, but they need something non-sexy right now. They got to pull a Jerry Jones and don't go non-sexy and go for something that's going to help the team in the long run. So,
right.
Next, the Lions are on the board. I wanted to go quarterback here. I feel like 4 or 5 of these teams in the top could go quarterback, but they got Jared Goff.
Yeah.
So that's not a need just yet. They want to see what they got in Jared Goff. So I went with Patrick Surtain the second. They need help everywhere on defense.
Well,
but I mean,
I have a feeling Okuda might get traded this offseason because
crazy.
he doesn't fit the scheme that they're running right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then bringing Trufant in was a big mistake. He has sucked sucked since his rookie year.
It's crazy.
And he's going to be a cap casualty, so I don't mind that. But I'm going because Kenny Galladay is going somewhere else for a payday.
Mhm.
I went Devonta Smith. He's the next best
Yeah.
or wide receiver available.
And
on the board.
they're going to need weapons.
Yep.
And Marvin Jones is also a free agent.
Yep.
So that's a really good pick, Jay. Because Marvin Jones being a free agent, Galladay's probably going to be gone. Who's your next receiver? I couldn't.
Titus Young.
Titus Young. Wait a minute, doesn't he play for the Chicago Bulls? But that's okay though.
No, don't you remember Titus Young from Boise State?
Ah, that Titus Young. I'm talking about Thaddeus. I'm thinking about Thaddeus.
Yeah.
There we go.
Damn.
Next one.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you mine. So my Lions pick. I said Surtain. Next we got the Panthers. This one we talked about earlier before the show. I was a little bit weary of this one because if the Panthers go all in like they say they are, they're gonna trade this pick to the Texans. So if that happens, then I'm gonna give you my Texans pick. Which I mean, even though they'll get Teddy Bridgewater, I still think they go quarterback of the future because I don't think Teddy will be their guy. He may be the holdoff, and I will go Trey Lance. If the Panthers make this pick, I'm going to go with Trey Lance.
If they keep Teddy B and CMC, they have been searching for a tackle.
Right.
And I'm going Samuel Cosmi, offensive tackle, Texas.
I like that because I mean it won't hurt them. It won't hurt them to go and get someone that can help them in that department.
They signed Khalil for all types of money that one year, and he was the worst rated tackle.
I think their center just took a pay cut as well, so they could try to restructure and get some money. I saw that. Next, we've got the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos.
They got so many problems I can't even start.
Yeah,
but,
man, I don't even know where to go in this one.
Chris Harris gone. Their secondary, besides their safety, is crap. So for me, Caleb Farley, cornerback.
I actually went with Caleb Farley as well.
I think
they like I said, you can almost close your eyes on this one. He was the best player on the board.
Exactly.
He was the best player on the board.
Virginia Tech corners are great.
Yeah, they've been phenomenal.
The Fuller brothers have been.
Yeah, Tech cornerbacks have been really good in the league, and so I mean, but yeah, if they're gonna, who was it that I think aren't they losing a cornerback this year? And I can't remember. I mean, they lost Chris Harris last year, but I feel like they're losing somebody else.
They cut AJ Boye.
They cut AJ Boye. There you go. So yeah, I mean, they're gonna need somebody there. Next and last, the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys are a great team. I'm just saying that for safety reasons.
The Dallas Cowboys are the best team in football. I'm also saying that for your safety reasons, sir.
They lost when their center retired.
Right.
I mean, that really threw them into thing. They're going to get Dak back. Hopefully they pay him. They figure out what the hell's going on in Zeke's head.
Right.
So I kind of went back and forth because there's two tackles I have rated the same here. But I went with Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle, Northwestern.
I wanted to
restructuring contracts.
I really wanted to pick offensive lineman here because I felt like that's what they need. They do. But this draft is pretty solid on the offensive line front. They could wait till late. But something that I think that they need to replace that they haven't replaced yet is tight end. Do
you think that Pitts is good?
Yeah.
But the last tight end that was like that came from Florida, Kellen Winslow.
Kellen went to Miami, but
It's a place in Florida, is what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying.
And I don't see it. David Ngoju. No, I can't even say it. They're gonna let him go. He's done up there. Why not go get that and then draft offensive lineman?
They could, but like I said, Dallas is one of those teams that they sometimes, like last year they drafted CeeDee Lamb, which looks great. No, don't get me wrong.
He made that one catch.
They did need a receiver last year. at that time frame. They were good in the receiver front. So I got a feeling that they continue to try to build up that offense, especially if Dak is not coming back.
Oh,
I'm
but
just
see,
I'm just
if Dak don't come back, they gotta go. They gotta find a quarterback. But
right.
why not? Okay, flip it defensively. Their corners suck, so J.C. Horn would be my pick here.
And that would be a great. But Dallas has a couple needs. Now I feel like they could go
A couple
either way.
needs.
Like,
Hell,
a couple
they
needs.
got a lot of needs.
They need a lot of.
They're
like
talking about bringing back the Clapper.
Don't you do that to them? They don't need that in their life.
He did great as the offense OC for the Giants.
He got enough to get him another head coaching at least interview this year. So he did at least solid on that end. So that is our top 10 picks for now. Me and Jay will bring you our top 10 picks here throughout until we head to the draft. So be ready for that here on the podcast. And now it's time for, just in case you're ready. All right, here we go.
It's time for Cash or Trash.
All right, everybody, it is time for Cash and Trash here on the LegacyMaker Sports Podcast. And our first one, we got 3 for you today. Our first one, Desean Sanders, cash and trashing as the head coach of Jackson State University.
I want to cash it, but I just think it is kind of a publicity thing. I see Deion being more an analyst personality than a leader. Does that make sense?
I think I know where you're going with that.
Because the man's been robbed how many times?
He's been robbed twice since he's been down there. I don't know why the people at Jackson State are treating my man like that. All he has done since he's been there is, one, get a 53-0 victory in the beginning. Now the team that they were playing, then the team that they were playing on the other end, wasn't. I never even heard of the team, but they did win 53-0. Troy Aikman came down there and visited him. I don't think it's a terrible thing. I mean, especially for HBCU, because you get a chance to see, you get a high profile guy like Desean Sanders. Oh shoot! And we have a high profile guy like Desean Sanders down there, to come and bring in kids to these small schools, like big names to these small. So I think it's a beneficial thing, even if he doesn't end up being a great coach. I think it will help the smaller schools, those small
It'll
HBCUs.
help the smaller schools, but how will it help the development of these young men?
Well, I mean, if Deion's a Hall of Famer, maybe Desean. I mean, he brought a pretty good staff down there with him. I don't know how much money they're paying him, but he brought a pretty good staff down there with him as well.
I mean, I need to see it first, because
before you go all the way in.
If I'm a father and my son's getting ready to be recruited, do I want him to go play for Desean, or do I want him to go play for Mr. Lewis?
There it is. I mean, that's a decision you got to make as a parent.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, but the kids, they see Desean. They've been seeing Desean on TV for all these years. The kids want to go play with Desean. And I think that's been a huge help to Desean.
It's more the ego than it is learn. I want somebody that's going to build my child to be a decent human being, along with as a respectful man. Not, look at all the bling. Nothing against Desean. Desean had his own brand. It's who he was. That's fine. I don't want my child to be that.
I don't know, man. I kind of agree with what you're saying, but I don't, because Desean is a huge man of faith. I mean, he's been a huge man of faith for a long time, and I think that's one of the hugest things that he's been preaching.
The hugest?
Well, yeah, the hugest. Yeah, okay. Huge. It's huge.
This is why I'm the editor.
But it's one of the things I've seen, and I'm saying to myself, like, I think his faith will, that he has, I think when he goes in those rooms and he talks to those parents, Deion's almost like a preacher. Let's be honest with you. He comes in there. He's got charisma, and he's able to convince these parents.
Let's not get on the.
Is he not like? Does he not like give you that
preacher?
vibe?
But Creflo Dollar.
But we're not talking about Creflo Dollar.
He's a preacher, ain't he?
He is a preacher. But what I'm saying is, Desean has a certain style and charisma, is what I'm leading to, that will, one, either give parents, I think a lot of parents, especially in the black community, where they feel comfortable with them going down there with Desean. I mean, that's all I'm saying on that. That's all I'm saying on that.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
That's fine.
Yeah, but I
would rather my child still go out to Arizona, though.
Oh, yeah, because Herm.
Herm Edwards. I said it wrong, not Lewis. Herm Edwards.
Herm Edwards.
I love
Herm Edwards, man. I mean, you can't
I
go
mean
wrong.
that's where I'm. That's who I was comparing.
That's where you're gonna send them to.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, look, I'm not mad at that because I mean, Herm Edwards is you play to win the game.
Well,
I mean,
you play
Herm
to
is the
win the
man.
game, but he's also, he is disciplinarian.
Right.
You show up, you do your job, or you shut up and leave.
Heck, man, they did such a good job, or he's done such a good job. He's got had people looking at Marvin Lewis as a head coach again in the league.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, man, Herm didn't even get a shot. Herm deserves to be back in the league, but he's gonna do good.
But I think he would rather stay where he's at
Mm-hmm.
and develop young men into,
Yeah, I think he's perfect for it.
Absolutely.
He's perfect for the college level. Perfect for the college level. Next one. Now this one's going to be interesting because Serena Williams loses to Osaka the other day in the Australian semifinals. She went out after the press conference. She's crying. A lot of people think she should retire. So the question at hand is: has Serena Williams, cash or trash, has she already won her last major?
Trash. She got one more in her, and she does that. She's gonna go out on top. It's the way she deserves it.
I also am going to trash this because Serena Williams. If anything, she's going to take this last match as motivation
And
to
she's
go.
gonna get pissed off.
She will be the one that did because she's 39 now. She's 39 now. We'll be talking next year, talking about she's the oldest woman to win a major, the first woman to win a major in her 40s. I don't know if that's true or not, but it sounds like something that would happen. Superstars, goats make things like this happen.
Absolutely,
So,
yes. I mean, she's gonna learn. I mean, as soon as they talked about her retiring,
mm-hmm.
I think it more pissed her off, and that was her defense to
Right.
not say something was to cry because, hell, you get mad and you don't want to break somebody's jaw, you cry to
Right.
let that emotion go.
Because you're trying your
Exactly.
best. Yeah, but she was pissed. You can see it, and I think that the media, I mean, we all know we're a part of the media, but certain people in the media just don't care. They're going to want the questions from you. They want the hard hitting questions. They're going to say whatever they're going to say. So she's pissed. Oh yeah, she's winning one more before she's all done. Yeah, most definitely. Last but not least on Cash or Trash. So yesterday, and I think we heard this from Rob yesterday, and then I saw the email on it. The Washington football team kind of made a semi-note that in 2022 that they would have their new name. So the Cash or Trash is, will they keep the current name in 2022, and will that be their overall new name?
Well, I'm stealing your answer from last night when we had our Zoom call. If they win the NFC East again this year under that banner, why the hell would they change it?
They're not changing it. I don't see it happening because I think they're going to be good again, or at least they're going to compete in that division again. Yeah, they'll have a winning record next year. It all depends on where they go at quarterback-wise, but they're going to have a winning record next year. So for me, I'm going to cash it. I think they keep the name, even if they try to extend it another year. I think they may extend it until they lose.
Let's see, Becca. I think you have to have a balance for any coach. She is a beast, as is, and why wouldn't it piss you off? Well, of course, it would piss me off too.
I'd be big boy mad. Big boy mad.
Jay, you gonna retire? Fuck you.
On my terms, you hear me? My terms.
I'd be like this. Get out the checkbook. Here, fuck you.
So I'm gonna cash it. I cash it. They keep the name. I got a feeling that's where they're gonna lean to.
I do, because even if they do a fan contest or anything like that, nothing is gonna feel right.
Right, because it's going to take a couple of generations before people be acceptable to the name unless they win a Super Bowl within the next couple of years.
BB, can we not use the word probe?
What?
Talking about the media.
Oh Jesus!
They're gonna probe you anyways.
Yeah, that sounds cute.
Welcome, Earthling.
Merry Christmas. All right, everybody. That was Cash and Trash here on the podcast. And that's it, man. That is it for today's show. That's episode.
It's so nice to do a show with you again. It's been so long.
So good to see you, man. Episode 273 here of the LegacyMaker Sports Podcast.
Guys, don't forget to check out our other content. Wednesday, we should have a wrestling podcast, Legacy on Fire. It's going to from what I hear, it's gonna be crazy. I don't watch fake stuff.
Oh my God! Come on, man. Why you had to say that, man? It's entertainment. It's like a sexy soap opera. But anyway,
It's sexy soap.
it's like a soap. I call it. My definition of wrestling is soap opera with a hint of horseplay.
You're the
So-
same person I think that still like DVRs Days of Your Life, so you can come
No,
and
man.
watch
I
this
haven't
shit.
watched soap opera with Passions. I was watching
You watch
Passions.
Passions, exactly.
I was watching Passions. I went back and started rewatching Passions. Passions was awesome, but that's neither here or there. We also have Legacy on Fire on Wednesday. Thursday, Commonwealth Sports Talk on Thursday. They've got Adrian Motley, who from the 757 area, former Miami Hurricane, now playing overseas. She'll be on the show on Thursday. We've got Monster Minutes on Saturday. Sunday with Becca Cottingham. So make sure you check that out. We also have Rob Johnson with the No BS Sports Zone. That's on Saturdays
And
at
Rams
10:30.
Talk.
And Rams Talk. That's gonna be on Friday at 11.
And Jay's got a new one coming.
That's
at
right,
ya.
y'all. That's right, y'all. Jay's got a show. I can't wait. That's right. Go ahead, tell him, Jay. Tell him.
No, I'm good. They just gotta wait to see it.
So Jay's gonna be bringing out a show here, a segment. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. And like I said, man, we're growing, man. We'll bring you more stuff every day. We're gonna surprise you a little bit. We'll have broadcasts, you name it. And real quick shout out to my man Antoine Jackson, getting me the anthem for for our hometown, for the Raider Pride, man. Do the shout out to Speedy in there, man. He kills it. Always kills it, man. He kills it, and then that made me feel good because I didn't even think about it when he was doing it. I just said, hey, man, we just need something to pump up, the home team. And when I listened to it and I heard him give the shout out to Speedy, I was like, it's perfect. I can't even say anything more.
It hit you in the feels.
It did. All right, everybody. I'm Darrell Owens, Legacy Maker Sports Network. Mr. Jeremiah Quimby here. This has been episode 273 of the Legacy Maker Sports
We
Podcast.
might make it to 300 before
We might.
2024.
I think we're going to make it to 300 this year. We should make it to 300 this year. I mean, at the rate
Don't
we've
hold
been
your
going,
breath.
we've been hitting every 2 weeks. I mean, 26. No, we might miss it by one.
Mhm.
So we'll be hit 300 at the beginning of next year.
Told ya.
Look, subtract the 3, go back, hit 1 here. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead.
Carry the one, follow the
I'm going to say by this time next year we'll be at 300.
What the fuck?
Look, I want to make sure.
Becca, that's 40, by the way.
I just want to make sure.
All right.
All right, everybody. Y'all take care of yourselves. Until next time.
Be safe. God bless.